Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm not even sure how to start a video like the one that's going to be today. I've tried to sit down and film this numerous times and I either get a little too teary-eyed or I just end up on like random tracks and I have a hard time keeping a singular train of thought. So I'm going to try this again and see how it goes. I just have a BB cream on today and some under eye concealer on my eyebrows. I am going to be demoing the Life's a Drag palette after this, but I have a feeling I will probably end up tearing up at some point talking about some issues in my personal life. I don't want my eyelashes to pop off or anything like that, so I have the box of tissues on standby just in case I do. This is a different type of video for me. I typically try to keep my private life private and social media work, you know, focused on beauty and makeup, and sometimes if I feel like a creator or something is really stepping out of line, then I'll bring that up, but in general I try to keep those things separate. I like a little modicum of privacy and my private life. At this point I'm starting to think that this comes all along with the YouTube beauty starter kit. You get the IKEA drawers, the mirror and the vanity, and the breakdown on YouTube a few years in. This is going to be my life update video, what's been going on with me for the past at least 3 months with my personal life and work, how I moved, my breakup of my relationship, my channel, questions or accusations I get about if I've had plastic surgery or what procedures I've had done, all things like that, just so I can have it in one spot and kind of address it all. I'm just going to sit here and talk with you guys. This is not going to be for sensitive ears or children, people who don't like potty mouths, because I'm just going to tell it like I feel it. And I know it's not the classiest, but I swear a fair share in my day-to-day life, so there will be more than likely a decent amount of swearing in this. I apologize ahead of time. I want to preface this by saying I'm not the best at talking about personal issues with even friends, let alone strangers on the internet. I'm doing this for a couple reasons. One, if this helps anybody else that's going through feelings like this, to know that they're not alone. And two, to explain to the people that do actually care about me, that don't follow me on Instagram, what has been going on with me lately, because I have about 1/5 of what I have on here following me on Instagram, and I've been a lot more open there about what's going on. I do get a lot of questions here like, oh, you moved, what's going on, where's Keegan? So I just thought I would address it right here. This is in no way meant to be like a pity party for myself. I'm well aware there are people dying and starving and much more serious issues in the world. That doesn't mean that I can't still have issues of my own, even though they're not as grave as those issues, and I can't feel shitty about them. Fair warning, this is going to start off negatively, but it's going to end with some positivity, or a lot of positivity, I want to think, because the good always does far outweigh the bad. But sometimes we all just need to vent, and so I'm hoping you'll bear with me, and I'm hoping it may provide a little more insight for the people that do care about me and have noticed a change in me. This isn't for the people that hate me, because I could care less. It doesn't matter what I say, they already have their mind made up about me anyway. I do realize by making this video, I'm opening myself up for assholes to talk shit or assume stuff, make jokes at my expense. Fuck them. Those miserable twats are sitting at home with nothing better to do. And I said it on my Instagram and I'll say it here. There's not one person online or in real life that's talking shit about me or to me that's doing any better in life than me. Otherwise, they'd have better shit to do. They'd be making money, spending time with friends. There's just no arguing with that. And that goes for everybody, not just me. So if you're dealing with someone in your life that's doing that to you too, same thing. This isn't politics. This isn't civil rights. This isn't anything that affects world affairs. This is fucking makeup and skincare. We'll put some timestamps below, just like in my review videos, because I'm going to jump around to my personal life, my relationships, my job. So if you just care about one thing or the other, you can hop around. It will probably be the most helpful and easiest for me to go in order, kind of a timeline of what kind of set off this chain of events and what got me to the point that I am today. This first part I touched on briefly in my getting ready with me that said like lit avocado or whatever, because I was just mocking people with their weird titles, and real AF and honest AF and all that weird stuff, because I do think that that's cheesy and freaking weird, but whatever. I mentioned it in that video, but again, not everybody watches all my videos, which you really should. You're missing out on some quality content. And again, for the record, I hope you guys know I do have a very dry sense of humor. I blame my dad for making me watch all the Monty Python skits and a lot of British humor when I was younger. I don't know. I think it's funny. Some people take things way too seriously and get very angry. In that chatty Get Ready With Me, I had explained that someone my company had hired came from the social media influencer manager world, whatever the fuck that is, and how it overlapped onto my current job at the time. I had chosen to vlog under my first and middle name for a couple of reasons. One, because some people are crazy and I didn't want them to be able to go to my job and complain because they were butthurt I didn't like an eyeshadow palette. Two, I never wanted to be pressured by my job to review a line that we worked for, to say good things about it in case I truly didn't feel that way. Three, my mother was the VP of a Fortune 500 company in the beauty business as well, and I didn't want her getting any flack for the shit I said or did. The social media manager that they hired gave out my personal information, and I was served with a warning. I hired counsel to make sure my butt was covered, but then I was asked by my company as a professional courtesy to remove the video. I refused, and I tendered my resignation. They did ask me to stay. They said it wasn't about that. They were just trying to help out another company, but I just felt like they should have had my back, and that shouldn't have even been brought up, especially as an independent contractor. Those two don't even overlap, and it was never a company that we would ever work for because they don't make anything of their own. So it's not like, and since it was a family business, again, it's not like those people would be making lateral moves in the beauty industry. So that happened in May. At the end of May, I stayed on all of June I gave my notice, I trained a new hire, brought him around to my accounts. I wanted to make sure that it was a smooth transition because I had worked my butt off for the 6 years that I was there, and I didn't just want to like drop everything and walk away. I do take pride in what I do. It was actually a blessing because it was that like kick in the ass I needed to get me moving, because just like in some of my relationships I'll talk about, I tend to stay too long. Like I'm loyal to a fault sometimes. That comes at my own well-being, cost of my own well-being. I wasn't happy there anymore. And basically what happened was, you know, the beauty industry has changed and a lot of businesses gone online, and they fired a rep and they gave me, so I was just covering Northern California and Reno, and then they gave me Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. So I went from 91 accounts to 293. My workload tripled, and what I was originally told was that that territory was doing about $70,000 in commissions. It would cost me about $20,000 to travel because we are independent contractors and we do pay all our own expenses and we are not reimbursed for them. I can write them off on my taxes, but blah, blah, blah. That I'd be basically taking home an extra 50 and then taxed on that, obviously. So I thought, okay, that's worth it to me, but it didn't end up working out like that. It basically was a wash. All the extra work I was doing, it was costing me to travel those areas, and it just wasn't worth it to me anymore. And I know business can be a roller coaster. You know, I'm not old, but I'm no spring chicken into jobs, and I know that that can happen. So I just kept thinking to hang in there and something would break, but nothing ever broke. And then when this girl came on, it was just like the icing on the shit cake. I just couldn't even deal with that anymore. So the good news is that work has been going amazing. I was in startup mode there for a little while I was trying to get, you know, still all the paperwork filed and my licensing and all of that stuff. But I had obviously savings from my other job, and so I kind of just like, I transitioned over fairly quickly. That was a stressful time kind of figuring out and not knowing, you know, I thought I was going to be with that company for, I didn't know how long. I thought it was something that I was really happy doing, and for many years I was very happy doing that. But sometimes things change. The past 2 years of my life have been very difficult for me, just like emotionally, mentally, financially. So after that incident with the asking me to remove the video, I was pissed, and it gave me the shove I needed to start my own consulting business. So I no longer have to worry about people calling my boss to bitch about me, because I'll just answer and tell you to fuck off. At the end of last month, my mother has now retired from her position after 15 or 17 years, I can't remember, so no danger for her anymore either. It's quite liberating, I can tell you. Since my mother has been in this industry for over 34 years, I've grown up in it and I've worked in it for many, many years myself. I have a lot of connections, so it was basically just setting up the paperwork, figuring out the exact services I wanted to offer, the rates, etc. So I was in startup mode for my own company starting in July of 2017. Work is going amazing. I love what I do. I can take on projects now that I want and be more hands-on now. That part of my life, like I said, is going great. And I'm actually thankful to that bitch that they hired because it gave me the push I needed to do my own thing. Otherwise, I likely would have stayed longer and been unhappy. And I would have felt ashamed that I took down a video that was the truth just to avoid conflict. So now onto the relationship part of my life. I seem to be a serial monogamist. I never realized this about myself because I don't look to a man or anyone else for value, and I don't even know that I've ever dated a man that's made more money than me. I've never looked to a man to financially take care of me. I'm completely okay in the company of myself, so I never looked at myself as being like needy, like having to be in a relationship. But now I've been joking around with my friends and I've been calling myself a dick monkey because I've just gone from long-term relationship to long-term relationship. Don't mind you are barking in the back of the cat. I don't even know how that's happened. It's not like I get out of one relationship and I think, oh my God, I can't be alone. It just so happens to work out that I meet people, I get comfortable. I'll come to that, back to that part in a little bit, and I end up in a relationship. I actually just had to write down like all my past relationships and how long they've lasted and just like how long in between to figure out timing. And since my first real boyfriend at the age of 14, which I know sounds foolish, I have only been single for a total in 22 years, because I'm 36 now, about 5 to 6 months. That is not healthy and that is not normal. I don't even know how that's happened. My first boyfriend when I was 14 was Chris, that went to an all-boys school. He went to St. John's in Shrewsbury. I dated him for 2 years. Then after we broke up, I was single maybe like a month tops, and then I dated a boy from my high school named George, and I was with him for about a year. After him, it was a boy named Russ that went to my high school as well, and I was with him 2 years into college. Maybe a few weeks in between there. I was single between George and Russ because, again, Russ was my friend and I just was comfortable, I guess. Then when I broke up with Russ, I dated a guy named Frank, I think for, I don't know, less than a year. But then as soon as I broke up with him, there was Tim in college for 2 years, and that was my last 2 years at UMass. He had transferred schools, so he had some credits to make up, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was pretty clueless. My parents had got divorced either my junior or senior year of college, and my mother had moved from Massachusetts to Arizona to work for the PBA, the Professional Beauty Association. In Scottsdale, they're the ones that put on all the really large like beauty shows and things like that. So for our 2 year anniversary, I was always like looking in the paper at like for rescues or dogs. I really wanted a dog, and my mom was telling me like, you're a crazy college party student, like you're gonna kill a dog if you get it, you won't take care of it. And I was like, that's not true. And so I kept telling like, I want a dog, I want a dog, I want a small dog, I want a small dog. And Tim's friend had his dog get pregnant by, they think it was like this neighbor dog or whatever, and they weren't going to keep the puppies, they were going to give them away. And so Tim brought home one of the dogs for me. And I was actually working at Applebee's at the time, and he came in on a Thursday night with the dog while I still had to work though. I was like, what are you doing? Like, what am I supposed to do? She was so small, she was too young to even supposed to be taken from the mom. They know that the mom was a miniature pinscher, and they think that the dad of, or you know, her dog dad was a Pomeranian. So she was so young, I had to have heating pad, like I brought her to the vet, they had made me put heating pads underneath her. I had to feed her dog formula. We really bonded. But actually, it drove Tim and I apart because he would come over after he worked late jobs too, and he would come over and it would drive him crazy that the dog would be whining or I had to get up all the time. So then he wanted to go to his house more, and it was irritating me that he wasn't being nice to the dog. And again, I had no idea what I was going to do. I thought maybe I would just keep bartending for a while until I figured it out, or I just felt kind of like lost. If you guys are aware, I had a roommate that killed herself in college, and that really just kind of like threw me for a loop and kind of like jumbled up everything that I thought I knew. I had decided that in 2 weeks when I went to go see my mom in Arizona that I thought, I'm just gonna move there. So I told Tim I was gonna do that. At first he was like, no, don't make any rash decisions. And then he was just kind of like, you know, you gotta do what you've gotta do. And I was like, bye. So I opened up my condo, I gave away all my furniture, I packed up what would fit up in my Pontiac Grand Am I had at the time. My mom canceled my flight out there. She booked a one-way to Boston, and we drove from Boston to Arizona in 3 days, driving 10 hours a day. We both just like switched off 5 hours and 5 hours. Little baby Dior up on the back of, it was like my TV was like bigger at the time, and she was like chewing on her hair and pulling her hair elastics out, and she peed in every state that we stopped in across country. I have found for me, after I leave the relationships that mean the most to me, I tend to move. I start over. Some people may think that that's like running away, but for me, I like a fresh start. I don't like to have memories around of things or people or anything like that. I like change. Not a lot of people do. I embrace it. I love it. I still had no idea what I wanted to do for work. Well, I always loved the beauty industry. I wanted to forge something on my own so I wasn't forever in my mother's shadow, because a lot of people know who she is. She's kind of a big deal. So in college, I was working for Applebee's bartending, and I basically just transferred from the Applebee's in Massachusetts into Arizona while I figured out and lived at my mom's house for a bit until I learned the area and what I wanted to do for work. I originally went to school for economics and art history. I ended up working in finance for many years. Then I was the director of operations for a finance company. Then I went back to school to work on getting my doctorate of pharmacy, which I did not finish. I did not complete. I've spoke about that before. I just decided it wasn't for me. I had saved up a decent amount of money while working in finance while the economy was great, so I took a little time off and I did some traveling. I then decided I wanted to work in the beauty field because it's not life or death. Like, it was hard to stay positive when you're inundated with negativity, like people losing their life savings, people losing their house in foreclosure, like that's some serious stuff. And in the beauty industry, I always enjoyed going to all these shows, even when I wasn't working in it, as my like income earning part, is because again, it's fun. It's nail polish, shampoo, conditioner, hair color. That always, you know, people are always tend to be in a good mood around that stuff. So I thought that's what I want to do. I'll backtrack before even that, go back to the Applebee's. Within a month or two of being in Arizona, after leaving Tim and moving there, I met Dustin number one. There's more than one Dustin. He was so sweet to me, almost too sweet. It freaked me out. At the time, I was only, 21 years old. I wasn't used to that. So we dated for about 2 years, and I guess he wasn't that sweet because he cheated on me with a hostess from a restaurant, and told me on our way back from San Diego, so I threw his phone out the window. Not healthy to do, but that was pretty much the end of that. Maybe a month later, after I broke up with Dustin, I met Derek, who was a super handsome man, but super dumb. I mean, he's one of those, like, if you've ever heard those jokes, like people being like, shh, you're pretty and dumb, don't talk. That's what that was. I think it was only meant to be just for kind of like dating for a little bit, but it ended up turning into a lot longer relationship than I was expecting. I thought I was just going to date to kind of take my mind off things, and it lasted almost 3 years. He just went along with anything, but come to find out he was a cheater too. And then I was trying to get him out of my house forever, but he wouldn't leave. He was never paying for anything. I was fully supporting him while he stashed his money away to end up buying a house when we separated. He was an insurance appraiser. I have no clue why I allowed that, but that was the beginning of how I get myself into these issues. I was on a plane to Las Vegas to meet some of my friends when Dustin number 2 walks onto the plane. I normally, like, when I'm sitting down and people are walking by, if it's like cute guys or something like that, I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't mind if he sat next to me, or this person if it's like open seating. And he was one of the people that walked by, and I was like, oh, he's cute, I wouldn't mind if he sat next to me. And he actually walked past. I was like, He actually came back, and it's because he went to order us drinks from thinking he's like a Rico Suave, I guess, orders drinks from the stewardess. He sat down next to me and he would not shut up. I had to actually take my headphones out because I normally kind of have that like do not approach, do not speak to me look on my face, I guess. And we started talking, and by the end of the flight we had exchanged numbers. I didn't see him while I was in Vegas, but after about a week after the trip, when I got home, I heard from him and he invited me out to have lunch. It was on like a work day and we both met from work. I was still at this time trying to get Derek out of my house. He was staying in my guest room, and he finally did. And once he was out, I moved to a new place and I started dating Dustin number 2, and I was with him for 4 years. We didn't move in together until about 3 years, a little more into our relationship. We had signed a 12-month lease on a house. I had stayed for 8 months while working for BSG, which is Beauty Systems Group, which owns Cosmetic stores and Sally's. Sally's is their retail company. And I had finally had it. The company I most recently left, which was my previous job, flew me out for an interview for a position that had just opened up, and I took the job on the spot. I flew home and I told Dustin I was moving to San Francisco in 2 weeks, and he was pissed. Him and I started dating when we were in our still like, you know, mid-20s, not early 20s, mid-20s. And we both just busted each other's balls nonstop. I'm sarcastic, he's sarcastic, so it was funny at times, but it was exhausting. And it was exhausting for other people to be around us too sometimes, because it was like, whoa, it's always something. We had a big going away party, and I had never been to the Bay. The first day that I saw it was the day that I moved there. And I moved up there, like Dustin came and helped me move my stuff up there. My company put me in a hotel for 2 months while I looked around, got to know the area, where I wanted to live. In those 2 months, Dustin came out twice to see me, and we fought the entire time. And so that was basically like the end of that. I guess we never really broke up. I just packed up and left. And he was really hurt. I still honored the rest of the 5 months that I had signed the lease for. So when I was with him, he was kind of like floundering and not really doing a whole lot. The rent on the house was $1,732. I paid $1,232. He paid $500. So I kept sending back half the utilities and everything, even though I wasn't there, because I felt kind of guilty that I just up and left. And the 2 months in the hotel helped me rediscover myself again. Sounds maybe kind of foolish, but I had not one local friend. I started going out to eat by myself, just being alone and learning to be comfortable with that, which was great for me. If you watch my Get to Know Me video, you know I can't carry children due to an issue with my uterus that I was born with. Within 3 months of me moving, Dustin had a new girlfriend. She was pregnant, and they were planning a wedding, and gave her his mother that had passed away's engagement ring. So that lady turned out to be a complete lunatic. That's a whole nother story. But that made me feel like shit, and like replaceable shit pretty much, and brought up a lot of bad feelings that I had when I was younger, and a lot of anger from when I found all of that stuff out. So going on to my 3rd month while I was in San Francisco, I was introduced to Keegan by a mutual friend that I used to play in an adult kickball league back in Arizona with. Keegan used to be one of her roommates in Arizona, and he had moved there 6 months prior to me for work. We became really good friends, and then we started dating in May. So 3 months I was single, and then Keegan. I had dated Keegan for 6 years. When I met him, he had been at a company for 8 years. He was with that company after we started dating for about 2.5 more years. And he had a lot of regional managers come and go during that time. The last one he had a blow up with, left his position suddenly and unexpectedly. All while this was going on, originally Keegan lived across the street from me, and the same complex, but like a different building. He's actually the one that introduced me to these buildings, or this complex that I ended up moving into, because it was hard to find a place in San Francisco. They go pretty quick. He stayed with me almost every single night because I had a dog and I didn't want to leave my dog. And about 6 months into our relationship, his lease came up again, and he renewed that, which I understood because I was like, we've only been together 6 months. So I get that. But he never stayed there one night in that whole time. He rented it out on like a Room-A-Rama type thing, which the days that I worked from home, I would help go over, change the sheets. So I'd go put them in the washer, go back, put them in the dryer, go back, put them on the bed, go back, meet the renter like I was a goddamn like hotel concierge or something like that, but I wasn't getting paid for that. He wasn't making money off of renting his place because rent in San Francisco is so high. He wasn't even really breaking even, I don't think. But then when he renewed the lease again, that really pissed me off. But I just thought, you know, I know he has some commitment phobia and commitment issues, and I've always financially taken care of myself, so I didn't harp on it. But he kept it for the first 2 years we were dating, and while we spent every night together, for me, I was just like, it was like a safety net, almost like he had one foot out the door always. After he left the job he was with when I met him, he gave up that apartment and ended up moving into mine. His was 1 bedroom and mine was 2. I needed 2 because I needed to have a work. Since I work remotely, I need to have a home office. He was out of work for about a month, and he had savings. He ended up going to work for a UK startup. They were all over the place, like a lot of startups are. He stayed there for 9 months and decided that he didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to spend full time focusing on his own startup. He left. We got along really well, Keegan and I. We did so much stuff together. We hardly fought. Previous relationships, I would want to like rip their balls off and feed them to them during a fight or something. And Keegan's the first person I didn't want to do that with. I wanted to be different. I loved him so much I didn't want to hurt him. He just really balanced me out. Now's the time that I'm probably going to get teary-eyed. Even though we started dating in May, he didn't ask me to be his like official girlfriend for almost 5 months after that. Even though we stayed with each other every night and we were seeing each other exclusively, it was just like pulling that trigger. I don't know what it is. Now, during the last 2 years of our relationship, Keegan was in startup mode for his own business, which laid all the financial responsibilities on me. If you know anything about San Francisco, you know it's super expensive. Not only the rent, the food, just everything. But I had done it on my own for the first 3 years. I lived there anyways, so I wanted to help him realize his dreams. So I took that burden on. But it was not just the rent now, though. It was other things. It was food for 2, travel for 2, business trips, and everything else that comes along with a startup. The last year, I was really starting to unravel. I was asking for help. For those of you that know, I have volunteered a day a week for years and years of my time with the YMCA mentor program. The last match I had was a challenging one for me. So between my work going crazy, my challenging match, and all the financial responsibilities on me, I was cracking. I didn't want to be a dream killer and tell him, you know, maybe it's time you go back to work or, you know, back to a 9 to 5, but I needed help so I could invest in my own company now that I had left my job and I had my own startup. I realized that I was living Keegan's dream. I wasn't living mine. And I didn't see any hope on the horizon that it would get better or a change. It wasn't just about a rough patch. It was about the attitude. It was having him see me suffer while not helping. And while I love him, that was selfish of him, and I realized that that would not be a good life for me in the long run. Our lease was up at the end of March. Keegan wanted to move down to LA. He works in the music field, and it would be more beneficial to him to be down in this area. I was realizing that I was going to have to qualify for everything on my own. I was going to have to pay all the new deposits and the moving expenses on my own, all while still maintaining like the $6,700 a month it was costing me to live in San Francisco. Cat's back. He wants to be in the life update video. I loved San Francisco. I did not want to leave there, but there comes a realization that with each rent increase and rent hike that, I mean, it wasn't getting any more affordable, you know, $5,000 a month for rent for something that's like under 900 square feet. You're having people stabbed in the lobby of your building. My car was broken into 5 times in 7 months. It was just getting frustrating. At the end of February, I went to meet a subscriber to help him match his foundation at Ulta, and then we drove him over to Sephora as well. And when I came home, I asked Keegan, are we a team working towards a future together, or is it you and then just me? And like, I've had these conversations with him before, and you know, just a bunch of lip service, and the tension had been building. And he replied, if we move from San Francisco, which you love, it'll be one more point of contention. So that was all I needed to hear. I went in my office, I called my friend Kat is the one that does my extensions, and I told her to go get us a 3-bedroom in this development that she really liked. I felt weird being 36. I still kind of feel weird being 36 and having to have a roommate, but I wanted to build back up my savings. My friend had just broke up with her boyfriend too, so we could help each other through those like kind of depressing times. And most importantly, I wanted to make sure that I can't jump back into another relationship. I can't move anybody in. I can't move out because I have this year's lease. I have a year to work on myself and figure out why I keep repeating the same patterns, or I'm destined to be miserable. My biological father isn't in my life, and I think I do have like daddy issues. Like I pick the emotionally unavailable people to try to think maybe I can get them to love me or earn that, or I don't know what it is. Probably like a million things, probably a mixture of a bunch of things, but I keep repeating that. Even though outwardly these people look different, ultimately there's like a very underlining pattern with them that I just keep repeating. So I moved down to Huntington Beach with Kat, and we are in a new place right across the street from the beach. It's a nice place. I only know about 4 people in town, and it's a little difficult to make friends when you work remotely and you're older, I find, so I'm still working on that. It was heartbreaking for me to leave San Francisco. I loved it there so much, but the rent was too much. I needed at least 2 bedrooms for myself because I need an office, and a 3-bedroom is really expensive, and the 3rd bedroom would normally be small if I were to get another roommate. If I stayed there on my own, I would have never been able to invest in my own company and in my own dreams because I would have just kept throwing money away on rent. That what I can feel that I was describing was just huge amounts of disappointment. Keegan and I lived there together for the rest of the month of March. We lived like best friends. It was emotional for me because I couldn't picture my life without him, and I was almost thinking in my head, sometimes if you break up with someone, you think, oh, I should have said that, or oh, I wish I would have said that. I'm like, I have a month to tell him everything that I could think of things I felt, and disappointments, or anything like that. But instead, I found myself waking up and looking at him sleeping and thinking, it's almost like a death, like, I'm not going to see that anymore, and I can't picture my life without him because he's been around for so long. I think every single day I cried. I questioned myself. Now my nose is going to turn Rudolph red. I questioned myself, how could this be right if it feels so horrible to me? I want to be with someone that loves me equally. I want to be with someone that can't wait to marry me. I will never give someone an ultimatum or a timeline. I've waited this long for it. I'm waiting for my own fairy tale. It may never come, who knows? There's that, an old archaic saying that loving someone is putting their feelings and needs above your own. If they're not your child, I call bullshit on that. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to love yourself. And if you don't, how can you expect anybody else to love and take care of you back if you can't even do that for yourself? Sometimes we need to take a step back and tell the difference between what we want and what we need. And that's what I had to do. Keegan was and is a great man, or I wouldn't have been with him for so long. I just desperately needed him to show up for me, and he didn't. So I had to leave. I had to choose me and my well-being. We're still friends. I've seen him now 4 or 5 times now since we've moved. He lives on the other side of LA with 4 of his friends, about 2 hours each way from me, so it's not like it's super close. I do hope he realizes all of his dreams and finds everything he's looking for. I pretty much remain friends with all of my exes except for one, and that was his own choice. The actual move was terrible. If you follow me on Instagram, I only had 6 days off in the 2 months prior to moving. I had the makeup show, and at the last day of speaking at the makeup show, I had 6 days to be completely packed and out of that place. I think all the stress finally caught up with me, and I ended up getting a walking pneumonia. I woke up the day of moving and felt like I was swallowing razor blades, and my lungs were heavy. I didn't book enough time for the movers, so they ended up having to leave before we were done. And since we were on the top floor, the elevator situation, just everything, we ended up being a whole day behind. So I had to sleep on an air mattress that kept deflating, all sick, waking up on the hard floor with one blanket that we had for like a pillow and blanket. It wasn't pleasant. And I am well aware that people have much worse situations and conditions going on, but that doesn't mean that what I'm feeling is any less shitty to me. And again, I'm not looking for a pity party. I just want to explain to you that care what's been up with me and why I've been so MIA. I'm not used to people being able to pick up on the slightest changes in me, especially since I have such a monotone voice on here and I don't show a whole lot of expression because, again, I'm sitting in a room talking to myself with the circle pointed at me. But being on social media, people do. It has been an extremely hard 3 months for me. I've had some gravely sick friends with tumors and cancers. I ended a long-term relationship to someone I thought I would marry. I moved from the city I love because it was so damn expensive and I didn't want to throw money away on rent anymore. I want to go back when I can buy a place. I'm still in the beginning stages of my company. Pretty much every major life change that could happen for me happened at once. This whole past month, I've had friends visiting every weekend, which was so nice to see them all, but I am exhausted now. I ended up with some health issues related to my anxiety, stomach issues that weren't very pleasant. And speaking of which, I got some people from that video I did with my mom saying a few stupid things, one of which being that I said medication was bad. Nope. Go watch and re-listen to that video. I am against long-term use of benzodiazepines. Not medication. I've been on the gauntlet of medications myself. The reason I'm against those is because I was on 6 milligrams of Xanax a day for 6 years. At that point, it doesn't even calm you down anymore. It just makes you not go into withdrawals. So the withdrawals I had were horrific. And from every other doctor that I have spoke to said I should have never been on something so addictive like that for as long as I was. I have read that it rivals opioid withdrawals, and now that's my experience with them. And since I was getting them from a doctor, I thought it was okay. In hindsight, I wish I got a second opinion. For some years of my life, my brain feels like Swiss cheese, like holes in my memory, things I can't remember. If you're on them long term and they're working for you, that's between you and your doctor. Why anybody in the world would care about what somebody on a beauty related YouTube channel says about it, I will never understand. But I will share the experiences that I've had because seizures and other serious issues are scary. And if you can be on another medication like mood stabilizers or antidepressants, I would much rather go that route. At this point, like I said, I've been on pretty much all of them, I feel like. Another misconception for that video, and now I'm going down a different path, is that my mother and I condone sexual harassment. Yeah, dipshits. Both my mother and I, who are female, want men to sexually harass us and other women like us. What we said is it's best if you can handle it yourself. People asked how my mother and I got so far in a male-dominated industry, and we told the truth. It wasn't by running to HR every other day because of something some perv said. We told them to fuck off, eat shit, and die, and moved on. We said that wasn't, a superior telling us that or someone touching you or anything like that. I mean, come on, use your brain. Why would we be for that? I think I would take career advice from a VP of a Fortune 500 company before someone at an entry-level position or whatever the hell those people are doing. And that's not to discredit their work, but I'm just saying, who are you going to take career advice from if that's what you're aiming? The person that I'm aiming for job, that's who I'm going to take it from. So, sorry, that's just the facts. I also wouldn't take swimming lessons from someone that would drown in an inch of water either, which, by the way, guys, I know everybody could drown in an inch of water. You guys try to point those things out and you ruin my jokes, damn it. During all of this, emotional stuff going on with me, I just lost my passion for doing YouTube. I would come on to people saying things like, you can tell there's something wrong with you, or you're difficult to watch right now. Weird stuff like that when it's like, I'm trying to take my mind off of stuff to make a video on makeup or skincare, and I'm being told basically that I look like shit or whatever in the comments. So I did tell some people, thanks, Captain Obvious. I am going through some tough times. No one needs to be reminded of it. If you can see it, I think they can feel it. And I think that's the last thing that anybody ever wants to hear. But again, it's the internet, and people have verbal diarrhea with little to no manners, it seems. YouTube also has a new artificial intelligence working on showing you what content they think you want to see instead of it being in order. So my videos aren't showing up for the majority of my subscribers in their feeds. They have to check my channel. Every time I upload, the minute I do, I drop around 200 subscribers. It very well could be that people aren't interested in my content anymore, and that may be it. My content has been the same. My long videos have been always the same, interviews, You know, I'm not begging for people to watch or like my videos. I'm asking if people do like my videos and they do like me, that they do take the time to interact. Now people watching on smart TVs and things, you know, they don't go on their phone to give a like or a comment. And if you don't do that, eventually YouTube will unsubscribe you from my channel because it'll show that it's not content that you're engaging with. I am more than aware that my personality is not for everyone. I get my style isn't for everyone. I'm not looking to appease millions of people. It's impossible. I'd rather be who I really am than try to accommodate everyone else's personalities. If you are someone that thinks so many beauty gurus or YouTubers are carbon copies, that's exactly why. It's easier to put on a face most want to see than to deal with the constant critiques of who you really are. For some, anyway, I can't speak for everyone. Maybe all those people really just hated my content and happened to be online at the same time. But I doubt it, since I get people telling me all the time that they've been unsubscribed from my channel and they didn't know. I also see many other channels complaining and talking about it, especially on Twitter and in some videos. So I know it's not just happening to me. It's happening to a lot of people. I find channels that upload regularly aren't really punished versus someone like me who only films when I can. If I have a break from work, we'll upload. It's definitely happening to me. It's kind of almost like a punishment. I don't want special treatment. I just want my videos to show to the people that are subscribed to me that want to watch my videos. I have definitely trolled back my fair share of people in the 3 years that I've been on YouTube. The people that hate me can't wait to tell me. But the people that do like me and maybe watch on a smart TV, like I said, or just on their phones, watch the video and go about their lives, you know, I don't hear from them as much. I'll never charge for my content. I haven't put up a Patreon. I'm not doing that YouTube sponsor thing, which I think is what they've tried to like back us into. I just ask, if you do like my videos and you do like me, please interact with me, because if you don't, they will eventually unsubscribe you, and it does feel fruitless for me. Like, I buy something that people ask me to do or a review, I put all this time and energy into it, and then people can't be bothered to leave a comment or a like, and then what I'm left with is a bunch of like nasty people being like, I hope you die. It's easy for people to say to focus on the positive. If you follow me on Instagram, I regularly thank my viewers for being so supportive and awesome. And I do have a few posts about trolls. I'm regularly in my comments and in my comment section here and on Instagram answering tons of positive things or questions. So if I feel the urge to tell someone to fuck off, I will, and I'm not going to apologize for it. For all of those people that tell me, like, why can't you focus on all the good? Why can't you focus on all the good I do? Like all my volunteer work, or the work I put in here trying to help people, or the giveaways that I have done where I don't ask people for followers or likes. I ask people to tell me something about themselves that makes them feel good or proud so they can feel happy in their day. Or the picnics in the park I've done for my subscribers so they don't have to buy something or wait in line to meet me. I've done 3 of those, 2 in San Francisco and 1 in Chicago. I do try to use my platform to help others and my subscribers. And the fact in 3 years I've only done 3 sponsored videos and they've all been with Sephora, I've passed on everything else. I'm not pushing codes constantly. It's like, why just focus on the bad stuff with me? Maybe some of you need to take your own advice. I'm a normal person. I'm going to have a range of emotions on a weekly, daily span. Everyone does. Some days will be bad, but more days will be good. I realize I can come across as a bitch on camera here for the millionth time. I do not enjoy filming myself or editing, hearing my voice back. I do have a raspy East Coast voice. I would always much rather be behind the scenes, so it's not something that comes very naturally to me to be super animated in a room talking to myself. Essentially, I gather information and I present it to you like I would in a meeting. I'm also about 10 years older than most on here doing this. So I chose to do this because I do have a lot of product knowledge because of what I do. And I bought so much shit watching YouTube previously. So I thought that I could come on here and help. Not that our opinions will always be the same, but I just figured, why not? I do have a comment moderator. Every single comment is held for approval here, because why in the hell would I want to read people telling me that they hope my father rapes me or disgusting things like that? It keeps me in my comment section and engaging. And even those trolls that you see me trolling back, they made it through Ronnie. So, I mean, disagreements are welcome. Some of the horrific things, though, obviously that gets blocked. And like I mentioned on Instagram, yeah, free speech. You have the right to say it and not go to jail, but I have the right not to read or see it. I do laugh at the thought of people typing out like these really long page comments, mean comments though, for Ronnie just to delete and block them and me never see it. That's funny to me. Again, it is easy to say how you would react or to ignore it, but I guarantee you if a few thousand people went on your platforms calling you a man, all that money on skincare and you're still ugly, you look so plastic, whatever anybody else has to say, I bet you would get irritated. It may come with the territory, but it doesn't mean that it's right. And all I've tried to do on this channel is help consumers make purchases that they will hopefully love and provide some education. I have passed on tons of money in 3 years because I don't want to be anything less than 100% honest with you. I'm not looking for a trophy. I just get so confused as to how some people can get so pissed off at me for something. It's like, I don't even know. I will never just randomly attack someone, but if you say some fucked up shit to me, chances are I'm gonna say some fucked up shit back to you if the mood strikes me right. There has been a surge of trolls lately on my Instagram, which I do keep private to avoid shit like that. I wanted it to be like a place that people could come and talk about makeup and ask questions and not be attacked. And I don't use my Instagram to sell anything. So, you know, I mostly, like, occasionally I post pictures of myself, but it's mostly of like, I don't know, beauty products or swatches or food or pictures of my pets or random stuff like that. Stuff I buy on Amazon. Weird. But that's where people get to see a more personal side of me opposed to on here. Recently, I did screenshot one comment that I got from somebody when, you know, sometimes you'll hear people be like, oh, content creators are so sensitive. And I posted it on there so people can see the type of shit that we read sometimes. And I got some people saying, you know, that's not right. She should be protected. That's a big fat nope. I liken it to if a child was walking around punching everybody, you wouldn't just say ignore it. The flood of comments that she got back for being a rude asshole, saying my ex dodged a giant-sized bullet or whatever she said because she thought I was talking about hanging out with Kat Von D when I said Kat, who happens to be my roommate, which I don't even know how that jump was made, but I bet you that bitch will think twice before she leaves another nasty comment on someone else's page, because you don't know what that feeling is like until you've dealt with it. You don't know what that feels like to have so many people coming at you saying something. So don't make rude public comments if you don't want to deal with the backlash. It's not like I went into my email and showed it, and even then, I wouldn't be sorry. I'm not sorry now either. This safe zone bullshit some folks think that jerks deserve is certainly not around me. I'll do it again if I feel like it. I protect and stand up for the people that need and deserve it. I don't care if you've had a bad day and then you just want to come and spread that like a disease. We all have bad days, sweetheart. It doesn't give you a license to be a fucking jerk and go unchecked. And try to keep in mind that I don't share 99.9% of the bad stuff I see every day. And again, without Ronnie, I can't even imagine the stuff that I would read on YouTube. But people don't know the DMs and the emails and all types of different stuff that we see. I have taken a decent amount of time away from social media than usual because my patients are so thin. My mental and physical health comes first, certainly above social media. Ripley for a little while was getting messages from people saying they feel like I was lecturing at the start of my videos. The type of person I am is I always try to think of everything that will come up. Questions, it's one of the reasons I have a review checklist. I think of everything that I would ask. So I also think of comments I've gotten before and I bring those up prior to the video starting so people can't say in the comments, oh, well, your face is filled with Botox and filler. Why would we listen to your skincare advice? So I addressed that, whatever it may be. Most of the time I'm trying to make a joke out of it. And if you're not the ones doing it, I don't know why you would be bothered by it. It would be like my mother coming home and saying, whoever's leaving the toilet seat up is an asshole. Well, she can't be talking about me because I pee with the seat down, so it can't be me. So I wouldn't feel bad. I would imagine you'd only feel like I'm lecturing you if you're either having those thoughts or you're the one saying those things. The funniest bit I always think about that too is if you feel so strongly about something that little old me is saying to write 9 paragraphs about me, imagine how you'd feel if it was hundreds or thousands of people saying it directly to you. I'm guessing bad. One place, so this can be all here. The only work I have done to my face is I've had under eye filler done twice. which I've been very open about, and I have a video on that. It's age restricted, and I've had 10 units of Botox in my forehead 3 or maybe 4 times. The last time for both of those things was well over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, if not more. And as you can see, I can move my forehead. It's all gone now. My lips, my cheekbones, my nose are all mine. I was born with them. That's for all the people that like to tell me I look plastic or I look like a man or whatever the hell else they're saying. I'm just gonna take it as a compliment that you think I look so perfect that I can't be real. I'm totally busting balls, but I've posted so many baby pictures on Instagram and I still get accusations. It's the weirdest thing to me to have people presume to try to tell you something about yourself that you know isn't true, but they like just keep harping on it. It's like, God, go away. I have had done recently, if you're noticing a change, is I finished my Invisalign 6 months ago. Right in here, I have a permanent retainer that is giving me a slight lisp still on those bottom teeth, which are all mine. They just were straightened. And I did get some veneers on the top of my teeth. For anybody that thinks, oh, they're too light, they match my bottom teeth. I don't know anybody that would go in and want to get teeth that were a different color. I mean, I've seen people get super white teeth while their bottom teeth were like natural. Natural teeth are yellow. They have a yellow tint to them, but it's almost like toilet bowl white with like a yellowish tint on the bottom, which does look very odd to me. What we did, and my dentist is excellent, I will have a video coming on that, is I used my Invisalign trays with some whitening gel to whiten them a couple times before I went in to get matched, and this is what we came out with. My teeth match. So I don't know why I would want like a lighter color. Again, there was nothing wrong with my teeth, which I'll address in that video too. I just desired a different aesthetic. Just like there's nothing wrong with my face when I put makeup on it. There's nothing wrong with my hair when I dye it. There's nothing wrong with my arm when I tattooed it. You know, it's just a different aesthetic that I wanted. My teeth were as wide as they were long, and I wanted a little more length onto them. And genetically, I do have bad enamel in my family, so it actually filled in some cavities and things I had for myself as well. I've talked about it on video, and I've talked about it on Instagram with my befores and afters. I will have a full video on that coming. Again, my teeth match. I've got people being like, your teeth look artificial. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock, they are artificial, but I don't think that they really look like that if you wouldn't have known me before. I will also have a Q&A up with my dentist for questions that you guys did ask on Instagram. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, I did have a breast reduction, not from implants. I'm just naturally large busted. I went from a 34H to a 32C. They're now back up to a 32F. So people have asked me for a video on that. I don't have many pictures before and after. I mean, like, besides just maybe set and clothing. But I will go through it and explain the process and my experience with that. Oh, and I also tried Cool Sculpting that I have a video on, and that was useless. I should do an update video on it, but I was like, what am I just gonna sit up and be like, no, this sucks, don't do it. Because even on the before and after pictures now, I've been working out with a personal trainer 2 times a week, and my efforts to get out of the house and meet new people, and my diet has also changed. So I don't think that giving an after picture now, I actually have less like stomach fat, but it's not because of the Cool Sculpting. That actually like disrupted nerve. Like I got some nerve damage from that while they were reconnecting, and every time I stuffed it would like tingle. And that would have cost like what, $1,500. So no, I would not have paid for that. I did get their service for free, but that's pretty much that. Now I was thinking about it, I would be happy with 20,000 viewers that watch and like my content. I have no aspirations of being in the millions. That means more people to try and please. It's exhausting. I have felt bored with makeup releases lately. I've been bored with all of YouTube. Like the interviews I've been doing with brand owners, because it's stuff I like to watch. So that's what I make, stuff that I want to watch. I know not everyone will like everything, but the videos are very clearly labeled. I don't make clickbait thumbnails. So if that isn't for you, you just don't have to click on it. And that's perfectly okay. I've just been feeling like I'm in a rut right now. I did just swatch the new Urban Decay palette, the Huda Beauty, the Melt, the Lunar Beauty Manny's palette. Manny's palette I'll be reviewing after this. So I will have some more review videos coming, and I will get back into my liquid lipstick review now that I'm not wearing my Invisalign trays. I feel disappointed in myself that I let a small group irritate me during a hard time for me personally so much that I lost the passion for something that I loved doing. Felt like a weak bitch. The idea of sitting in front of a camera and opening myself up again for the scrutiny I just didn't want to do while I was feeling like shit. And the beauty of this not being my job is that I don't have to. But I'm going to try to find that passion again because the good always far outweighs the bad. Just with everything YouTube has going on right now, messing with the subscribers and feeds and people not interacting, it just started to feel disparaging. Now for some positive, happy stuff now that I've been whining for a while. I posted on Instagram a few weeks after Keegan and I broke up because I was getting a lot of questions as to where we were moving and why my sister and my mom were here in town to help me pack and a bunch of stuff. That one post got more than 27,000 likes, more than anything I've ever posted on my page. Nothing but supportive comments. I did not have to delete one rude thing. And that outweighs every single negative thing I've ever gotten on any of my platforms or my channel in 3 years. And that's what I'm trying to focus on. I posted a thank you on Instagram, but I want to say it here too, to thank you to each one of you that helped lift me up when I felt at a very low and hopeless point. I want to thank you to all of you that leave me comments here, questions or kind things, people that send me cards to tell me to hang in there. I so wish I could answer every single person back. I feel like a rude asshole that I can't, but there's only one of me. And so it's difficult. I try to spend like the first hour of my video, depending if when it goes live, if I'm in a meeting or not. But if I'm home, I try to sit there and answer as many comments as I can. I'm not used to having so many people that I don't know cheering for me to do well. It's also a very weird feeling having so many people that don't know you wish the opposite for you. I can tell you that there are people that I haven't met in person, but I dislike their public persona, so I do get that happens. I do try to focus on the good. There is so much, and when I work with kids, every day I ask them something that they are grateful for. Some days it's iced coffee for me. Some days it's the fact that my recycling bin is right next to my trash bin so I can throw all my junk mail in there. Anything, even the small things, because life can feel overwhelming at times and it can feel like a pit of despair when we're thinking of everything that we have going on, or it can feel very hopeless. So if you're feeling that way, come over to my Instagram or my Twitter or here, or just say it to yourself. Say something in your life that you're proud of yourself for accomplishing, or something that you're grateful for. Your mind is a very, very powerful tool. Let it work for you and not against you. I know it's always easier said than done. Believe me, I do. I kind of feel like I'm floating right now with no real purpose, which I think is a natural part of grieving, or just sadness that will take some time to get over. It almost feels like Keegan died. Someone that I saw every single day for 6 years is suddenly gone from my life, and it's a huge adjustment. What's that saying? When your career is going great, your personal life goes to shit. That's what I feel like. It's scary to start over, but it's also exciting. There are some people that absolutely hate change, but I love it. This change just hurt my heart, and it will take me a while to get over it and to be able to talk about it without tearing up or crying. But I just think of the times in the past that I felt like everything sucked or that nothing would be okay. And again, look at how far I've come since then, and I'm able to look back on those times and learn a lesson. My mom used to tell me that every time that we love, we learn to love better the next time, and I will never look at my time with Keegan as a waste or a regret, because for 4 years I was supremely happy, and I learned things that I can accept and things that I can't, where I'm willing to negotiate and where I'm not. I'm a better person for knowing him and having him in my life, and I think I was the best version of myself when I was with him. Now I just have to get used to this culture shock of moving from a city to a beach town. I have to get weather appropriate clothing. I need to join some activities where I can meet some like-minded individuals to make some new local friends. I need to pick myself up, stop wallowing in self-pity, and move on with my life. What other option is there? To just give up and die? No thanks. While I will roast a jerk from time to time, I do always try to say thank you guys for your support and views. You are the reason I do this, and I take your trust very seriously. I try to be as transparent as possible. Nothing worth doing is easy, right? I'm not the first person to feel like this, and I won't be the last. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things and back to loving what I do here on YouTube. And again, I get not everyone will love every video I do, but they are also not obligated to click on them. At the end of the day, I just have to make content that I like, stuff that I like to watch. Otherwise, I can follow suit of doing challenge videos and whatever else is trending at the moment. And not that there's anything wrong with that, that's just not what would make me happy. So again, I'm just trying to find a happy medium. So for those of you that are along for the ride, thank you. And for those that don't want to be, thanks for trying. There are a million other channels out there that I'm positive one will suit your needs. Again, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has been supportive. And if you've noticed, obviously, the change in my background, which I've addressed, I still have some more decorating to do. Or you notice that I feel like shit, or I'm lashing out a little more than usual, it's because I am cranky and I'm tired, I'm emotionally drained, and it's just been a rough 3 months. So I don't ever think that there's anything wrong standing up for yourself. I don't just like pick a fight with somebody random. And if you're going to come on someone's page, and I've even stood up for subscribers before when I watched their channel with people telling them, like going in the comment section, calling people a clown. I'm sure any of, if that's still watch this video, that can tell you. If you're gonna comment on someone's looks like that, you better look like a goddamn supermodel. And if not, prepare yourself, because I will absolutely say something rude back. This idea of that we always just have to turn the other cheek and take it. It's like, nope. Nope, we sure as heck don't. What's that saying? An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. No, it doesn't. It leaves one asshole with one eye. I plan to be that asshole. I'm just kidding. I could rock a patch though. I hope this gave you guys a little more insight to what I'm doing. I've been blabbering forever now. Now I'm going to go film my Manny Lunar Beauty video. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and thanks for listening to me bitch. Bye.